there are times it's not very easy to balance that role. As you pursue, profit, there are times you are always in conflict about moral values and so on. So it's always a tough balance from my experience to lead something is always, it's always easy to take a responsibility, but the role that you play, the amanah that you have to take, I think it's not very easy to carry.
The main purpose of human creation is to worship Allah. Human beings should realize and aware that they are the best creation of Allah and they are equipped with the innate capacity to worship Him. And remember when your Lord said to the angels, I am about to place a vicegerent on the earth. Surah Al-Baqarah, verse 6. Vicegerent of Khalifa also means successor, deputy of stewards. Its most common term refers to the leader of the caliphate. Caliph does not only mean a leader of a community or religion, but it is more accurately about the responsibility to lead oneself, family, and the people around towards success in both life and religion, as exemplified by Prophet Muhammad, who was a great leader for all of humanity throughout time. In line with the role of a caliph, Tan Sri Datuk Sri Said Zainal Abidin Said Muhammad Tahir, icon in the automotive industry of this country, has never wavered in his commitment to continue advancing in fulfilling the entrusted responsibilities. The experience of managing large international companies has not made him arrogant and conceited. Instead, it has made him more self-aware and conscious of the demands of being a good leader in ensuring that the responsibilities of the position he holds are carried out to the best.
From a character, I think my dad inspired me quite a bit. He's a government servant. He works in GPJ, he works in Kementerian Dalam Negeri, Kementerian Perumahan. His role, and he's a very honest man, but he still believes in giving education to the children. And he sacrificed everything for the family. And tak berkira sangat lah, my father. That's from a spiritual and a person. From a work point of view, I think two people that came up to me that inspired me. Number one is my previous chairman in Proton, Tan Sri Nazmi. I'm a very talented, young, dynamic entrepreneur, but a very wise person who jokti, akhlak dia baik, and style of management very good. I think he motivates you quite a bit. I was lucky to know him for a very long time. So those are people that I think that, over many years, of course, there are many other people that I read and I interact that also inspire me. But if I were to pick three individuals, these are the people that I will, of course, and as a Muslim, our role model is always Rasulullah Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
No matter how far he has walked and succeeded, he has never forgotten his roots. This quality displayed by him should be emulated. Even though he has succeeded as a leader in a large company, he still remembers his responsibilities as a son, husband, and father to his family who have sacrificed a lot for him.
Success that I am today, Alhamdulillah, Tuhan bagi peluang, part of it, of course, is a lot of hard work. But I wouldn't be here if these two stakeholders didn't support me. Number one, of course, my parents. I always believe I'm here because both my mom and my dad, ayah, angkat tangan doa untuk kebaikan anak. Itu, I always believe doa mak is very strong. Allah mungkin mudah-mudahan Allah makbul dan memberi saya kebanyakan kejayaan. So that's very important. I always remember. I make it a point to say thank you and always remember because at least dia orang masih hidup. But of course, the support system of my wife and my children is very important. Kalau if I have a wife that's not understanding, to get where I am today, dah a lot of sacrifices that I had to make lah. The sacrifice basically time lah, masa kan, kita tak ada masa. It's very focused and I'm a workaholic lah kalau orang kira kan. So I spend a lot of time at work and there are times when I spend to take care of the children in the house. Basically the responsibility, my wife took that role lah. So for sure I wouldn't be here if I wouldn't get her support lah. Whether she's happy or not happy, I think she has also accepted the fact that I am busy with work, so we complement one another. But again, my success, I always remember, it's not about me. I think it's about have a very good support system. You must never forget who put you where you are here today. Your family and your parents.
Al-amanah, trustworthiness, and al-mas'uliyah, responsibility, are obligatory for every Muslim. Both of these noble qualities show a character that will determine good morals in a person in daily affairs. Indeed, we offered the trust to the heavens and the earth and the mountains, and they declined to bear it and feared it. But man undertook to bear it. Indeed, he was unjust and ignorant. Surah Al-Ahzab 72. In addition to determine the future of society, it is also a determinant of the sustainability of management in an organization. Administrative affairs of a business must be handled with care so as not to be contaminated with the treacherous elements of the members of the organization. Based on that call, he is not afraid to take steps to carry out every task entrusted to him, thereby achieving success not only for himself but also for his subordinates and the organization he manages.
To get success is also about to experience failures. Jangan-janganlah kita nampak orang yang berjaya 24 jam tanpa kegagalan. And the more important thing is those failures makes you a better person. So if I were to look back in retrospective in my years in all this organization, obviously there are a lot of, there are a few failures that I think I could have done better lah. To please the people. And I think you're right. I'm a very, when you are in the business, you must be a very customer focused lah. I always tell to my staff, rule number 1, the customer is always right. And rule number 2, if the customer is wrong, refer to rule number 1.
Mistakes in action, especially when managing an organization, are not something to be belittled in his view, but rather it's taken as a lesson to help him continuously improve his skills and efficiency in managing affairs, ultimately leading to the success of the organization under his leadership.
So when I was in Proton, for example, the main objective is always to make sure that you make the right car, the right price, at the right time. So I think one of the things that I rasa yang to me that rasa I could have done better is to give better quality cars to my customer. And the biggest problem today that sampai sekarang orang dengar is the famous issue pasal power window lah. It's been discussed in the parliament. So I think I've corrected it. I'm not sure about today whether the issue is this, but those are just one example. Small little things. If you don't do properly, the customer will remember the bad thing rather than the good stuff.
So I worked with him together at Proton from 2009 until 2012, and I think the chemistry worked very well. When I joined the company at that point in time, the share price of Proton is about $1.70. When we left, it's about $5.10. So they show the good relationship that we work together as a team. And I always look high and look Tan Sri as my good mentor. When it comes to works, when it comes to spiritual, when it comes to example leader that I would like to follow.
If he asks us to undertake any responsibility, it's very clear. He gives you the overall picture, he gives you the comprehensive picture, he gives you the timeline, and he also explains to you your role and your contribution towards that whatever task that you're taking. He also makes decisive, fast decision. If you give him, for whatever task you give him, okay, Tan Sri, these are the relevant information you should know. So I need you to decide. So after you give him consultation and all the relevant information, he can give you the decision very fast. So for someone in my role, for example, for you guys, you always want quote, soundbite, comments on on the business matter. So it's very easy because you give him the information, he can give the decision fast. So it's very important for someone in my role.
Despite having built a name in the corporate sector and being honored with various achievements both domestically and internationally, there is also an indescribable feeling, especially when considering the sacrifices he had to make, leaving his family behind for the sake of a dream, responsibility, and comfortable life that he has today.
Number one, of course, my family is one. If I had to turn back, I wish I had spent a bit more time with my family, particularly my sons. So that part of the life when they were growing up, I missed quite a bit because they were overseas. I was busy, but thankfully my wife yang asyik pergi melawat je lah kan. So I missed out, I was always trying to busy to being their father, but I forgot to be their friend. Because today anak kita perlu kawan, bukan cuma bapa. Bapa of course they need the father, but they need also a friend. And I'm trying to make up for those lost time. So if I had a chance, I would have do things differently.
Behind every success, there are certainly sacrifices that has to be made. The same applies to Tan Sri Datuk Sri Syed Zainal Abidin, who known as an influential and successful individual in everything he endeavors. However, he is very fortunate because he has an excellent support system from his family, especially from his wife, who are so understanding of his career journey as a responsible leader in every organization he leads.
People always say, how do you support him? How did you help? Actually, he is gifted to me. He's gifted. So we are here just to kind of manage to get the little things out of his way so that he can go forward. When he was with Proton, he was so busy. If you look at the calendar, he's got calendar all lined up until for the whole year. So I would have to call the office to say, Farah, ada tak slot to have tazkirah at home? Even for the children punya sports day lah, apa-apa lah, I would have to become the father and the mother. So, and that was good because he didn't have to worry about the house. He didn't have to worry about lampu tak ada ni, kena tukar. I would look after the lampu all the way to the children's school, all the way to the medical, everything. But I love the way I get the reward back because when I do that for him, then he does his work well.
His busy schedule in managing his career may have hindered him from being with his family all the time, especially as his children were growing up. However, all his efforts serve as a good example for his children, who admire their father's achievements and are inspired by him to follow in his footsteps.
My father now, he's at an age where I think he's tired, but he doesn't say he's tired. So I try to support him. I try to be morally, however way I can. Yeah. So I definitely have two idols lah. Female idol and a male idol. So female being my mother and my male being my father lah.
I think the good part is macam with me he can negotiate. But the father, no negotiation. If it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So macam he wanted a bike, he wanted a bicycle. And the father said, okay, come up with a presentation for me. The reason, where you're getting the money from, why, when, and all that. The 4W lah kan?
Dia macam buat crowdfunding. Tetapi crowdfunding nak beli basikal. I want fund to buy this bicycle. Why? What is the value proposition for me as an investor?
Give me resolution what you're going to do. If you get this, what you're going to do for me? So dia ni pun tulis lah.
Tapi deep down, I think masa tu tak perasan lah. But then now I know he did all that not because he wanted to, because maybe he got a kick out of it lah. Mungkin dia nak rasa tunjuk usaha lah. You know, even though we could buy the bike for me without asking, but sometimes it's the effort you put into something lah.
Although he is highly regarded and seen as an entity with an elegant and far-sighted nature, on the contrary, he is a man who is simple and very approachable. The proof lies in the fact that he always seeks time with his family, engages with employees and the community, extending a helping hand to anyone in need. The renown he possesses is not limited to the corporate field, as he also dedicated themselves to humanitarian work through the establishment of the Ground Zero Foundation. He also served as the chairman of the Mawib Education Committee and as a member of the Federal Territory Islamic Religious Council, showing a deep concern for the education of the nation's children, especially in matters related to religion. It is not surprising that in the past year, in 2022, he was chosen as the recipient of the Anugerah Perdana Maulidul Rasul 1444 Hijrah.
Daddy, water. I think he has a very, maybe people would say like a stoic exterior. But I think once you get to know him, he warms up to you. He's actually very funny. He's actually very loving, and yeah, that's what I can say about him.
For me, I would say, if you don't mind me going first, okay.
Go ahead.
For me, it was like, when we had the last flooding that we had, and everybody went down to the ground to help and all that. And for a person like Tan Sri, dirtying his hands, going down to the ground and helping everyone, it was something so humbling to see, even till today for us. He doesn't see status, he doesn't see who you are, but if you need help, he's there any point of time, as much as he can help.
We went to visit a kampung, what they call it, Dusunio. It's further up and at the river bank of Kelantan. So from there we see that house, there are about 30 houses, totally out, totally flat, no house, no nothing. From there, the Ground Zero burst. So, and after a few discussion, and finally, we look forward how we're going to support. So from there, Tan Sri came up with an idea, because as you know, Tan Sri is orang yang what they call it a zuhud person, asceticism, yeah, and he is also what they call is orang yang pemurah. Then after that, we form a committee. We built a house for 30 units in Kuala Krai. Roughly, it cost at that time about 70,000 per unit, and we collected funds from various agencies, government agencies, from banks and publics. Total approximately about 22 million.
In the humility he displays, he is still recognized as one of the respected leadership icons, and undoubtedly he has had a positive impact on his family, friends, colleagues, and anyone who knows him to some extent.
I really hope that whatever he wants to do, may Allah grant him his wish, because I know the plan after retirement, it always comes to that. I know for sure it's also not only benefiting him, but also benefiting the Ummah. So I wish him the best.
For Tan Sri itself, I think I've seen a lot of changes, I would say. Maybe dulu Tan Sri sedikit strict, I would say. But now I think Tan Sri is a bit more softened. He show more empathy. He also talks more about religious things, and that gives balance and also calmness when we do things with him. I hope he would bring that approach towards whatever that he will be doing in the future, inshallah.
So I think my wish for him is sihat so that he can continue to do his dakwah work, his to the society, because he loves it. It keeps the guy going. He loves doing all this Ada je lah benda nak buat malam tak ada je, dia fikir apa nak buat besok. Some good things, you know.
I could have done more to the people that I work with lah, you know. Daripada dulu first time Petronas, Proton, Pro2, I could not say about in terms of business, you know, profit, but I could have been a better leader by giving them better careers and better benefits lah. But sometimes it's not money, you know. I believe I should have exposed them to better things to be a better human being both dalam segi dunia dan akhirat. Dunia boleh berjawab, tapi yang saya tengok ni banyak benda yang akhirat yang saya belum, I should have done better lah. Maknanya bagi mereka pendedahan dari segi agama, bagi kursus-kursus semayang kan. Dan dia mungkin, you know, ada pendedahan. Because at the end of the day, to me lah, my measurement is always, you want your staff who's successful, but also have to be a good Muslim lah, you know.
Lebih 12 tahun saya mengenali beliau, yang mana asalnya masa saya khidmat kat sini tu saya just nampak-nampak je kelibat dia dan tahu beliau sebagai CEO dekat Proton kan. Tapi bila dia berjemaah di Masjid Al-Falah dan saya berkenalan dengan isteri beliau, isteri beliau juga sebagai jemaah muslimat di Masjid Al-Falah ni, jadi semakin lama semakin baik, semakin rapat. Dan bila berlaku pertukaran nazir, kita nampak bakat apa tu kan, orang semua dah kenal dah dengan Tan Sri ni, tapi bila untuk menjadi nazir Masjid Al-Falah nampaknya lebih sangat-sangat sesuai lah beliau memegang jawatan nazir itu, sebab dengan yalah dia seorang yang memang dikenali di luar dengan dia punya personality dia yang sangat hebat kan. Dan bila kita tengok dia ulang-alik ke masjid dan nampaknya dia berminat untuk mengimarahkan masjid. Dan kami libatkan juga dalam program-program, beberapa program kita minta dana daripada Proton dan sebagainya. Dan beliau sangat memberi kerjasama. Dan daripada situ makin lama kita makin rapat dan akhirnya bila berlaku pertukaran nazir tu, kita memang setuju untuk beliau menerajui Masjid Al-Falah sebagai nazir yang baru pada, maksud dia yang kalau tak silap saya, nazir keempat dah masa tu.
Itu mungkin masa dulu kita lah kerja kan, kita pun taklah kuat sangat agama kan, zaman-zaman jahiliah dulu kan. But now that I understand more about religion, I wish I could have done things better lah. I could have been a better Muslim leader to them, you know, give them a little bit more exposure. But it's never too late. So now I'm trying to do what I can lah, you know, to the people that I work with, you know. Marah-marah, but kita kena ada juga talbiyah lah. Give them reminders what to do as a Muslim, you know. That's how we should do our dakwah lah. Kita je buat kerja-kerja, tak fikir, tak langsung pesan orang pasal solat, pasal jadi macam kita tak menjalankan tugas kita sebagai pemimpin kan. At the end of the day, what you want to be remembered? You want to be remembered as a strong leader in business, but you also have to be remembered as a fair leader from a Muslim perspective.